First Things First is sponsored by Gillette, the best a man can get.
Back here, First Things First, we're joined by Hall of Famer, two-time champ, Isaiah
Two-time champ.
Knows a thing or two about basketball.
What up, Zeke? He got some knowledge.
That is
he knows the real Isaiah Thomas now.
Yeah,
check his head-to-head record against Michael or Bird or any of them fools, man. Zeke's in the building.
You know what this is?
Let me hear.
Anytime Nick acts up, we're going to bring Isaiah in to correct him.
Calm him down a little bit.
Yes. Isaiah and I had some nice talks yesterday, on and off the air. Made me reevaluate some of the things I'm trying to put together.
Oh, I love
and that's Isaiah threatening you, man. The worst part is if his brother's threatening you and his mama, who's toting the gun.
Yeah, she believed in the Second Amendment.
All right, on that note, let's talk some Zion Williamson. Zeke, we haven't seen much of the #1 overall pick since the draft. He played just 9 minutes of summer league before exiting with a knee injury. Now, according to reports, Zion has withdrawn from the USA select team, stating he is focused on being fully integrated with the New Orleans Pelicans. All right, Isaiah, what are your expectations for Zion this year?
Well, my expectations are high, like everyone else's, because you watched him perform in college and you saw the athleticism and the unbelievable, just wow factor that he brings in. My concern is, though, right now, is that he won't have played competitive basketball since March. And most rookies don't come into the NBA or the NFL or Major League Baseball and dominate, okay? And I'll throw hockey in there also. So if you're talking about coming in and playing at a very high level and you haven't played competitively since March and you're going to show up in October or November and go against, the men, I'm a little concerned. I got some concerns about that.
Isaiah, take me back, because there have been a lot of people comparing Charles Barkley to Zion. And I can understand why, the height, the position, the explosion, things like that. But can you take me back to Charles Barkley, Olympic team?
Yes.
Bobby Knight.
Yeah.
Out of shape.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Who is Zion if he gets in shape and his potential higher than what Charles Barkley?
I don't know if his potential is higher than Charles Barkley. He may be able to equal Charles Barkley.
Charles was that good.
In shape, yes. Now, Charles out of shape was that good also. But Charles out of shape was, I believe he was coming off the bench his first season in Philadelphia.
With a really good team.
With a really good team, right? And now when Charles Barkley got in shape, he was taking the Phoenix Suns to the NBA Finals. Yep. And could have won and could have beat Jordan.
Double overtime game, kind of swung that series.
And he was doing it with players who had some issues. I'll just say that. So when we look at Zion, I think right now, if he doesn't get his off the court habits correct from a nutrition and an eating standpoint, and that seems to be the issue right now in terms of weight. He didn't play, only played, one game in the summer league.
Half a game.
Half of that.
I don't know how many games he played in college, but, he hasn't played basketball a whole lot in the last 2 years.
Well, he played 32 games in college.
Okay.
And so you've got, since high school graduation, against high-level competition, he would have played 32 games plus half of a summer league game, which speaks to your concern. And so let's talk about the weight and the nutrition, because you always say I don't listen to you, but I do. And this has been your concern with Zion since we were marveling at him at Duke, which is, what is his ideal playing weight? Will he be able to stay at that ideal playing weight? And people joke about it, but being a rich kid living in New Orleans, that's a hell of a situation in order to be able to monitor your diet. Maybe the best food city in America. He's got more dispensable income that he's ever had in his life. So these are concerns. And in that little bit of time we saw him at Summer League, he did look bigger than he looked at Duke. He did look like he had put on some weight. Now, he was still explosive. I think his first 4 baskets in that game were dunks. We still saw...
Nick, we are in the NBA, right? In college, you get that freshman 15. Well, in the NBA, you get that rookie 15.
because of the money and because of the access.
Food, and you gained some weight that first.
So you two, as Hall of Fame athletes, albeit in different sports, but Cris obviously played basketball at super high level before turning football exclusively. Let's just say his rookie year, he doesn't get to the ideal weight. You know what I mean? That he is playing above what he should. Is the biggest concern about not being as explosive as he otherwise would be? Is it about injury? Is it about ability to play the number of minutes and number of games over? He never played, I just mentioned 32 games was his most NBA games, an 82-game season. You don't load manage rookies. Like, what are the concerns if he doesn't get to that ideal weight?
What younger athletes miss and my concern about Zion is, what is Zion at his best? And his weight's going to be down when he's at his best. It's not that I doubt his ability. I'm just trying to say what's going to make him the absolute best. And what people miss out on, great conditioning. When you have great conditioning as your foundation, when I go to the gym or go to the field, all I'm working on, what's the offense, what's the defense, and my fundamentals. I'm working on the game. The hardest thing to work on in pro sports is working on conditioning while you're trying to learn the game. Because he's going to get taken to school. Like, they did not teach him at Duke what they're going to do in the NBA. Zeke will tell you this, even at Bobby Knight. Bobby Knight could not teach him what he needed to know as a point guard going into the NBA. And it's hard to learn with your brain moving like that and you don't have the cardio to be able to relax yourself. So for me, I try to emphasize this helps you learn better. It helps you learn faster. And then we know it cuts down on injury, so you're going to miss less time on the court. So for me, it's fairly practical of why you should be, why elite athletes should be in great shape.
That comes with the territory. I mean, in terms of being in great shape. And Vince Lombardi had the greatest quote when he said, "Fatigue will make a coward out of men."
Yes.
Because if you're not physically ready to play in terms of your stamina, and we know this from competing, all of us show up at the arena with basically the same skill level, basically the same talent. But those last 4 to 5 minutes, the guys who are in shape can concentrate longer, and they can play at a higher level because they're not as fatigued. So all those things that don't show up on the stat sheet, when you and I are playing against each other, you know, those last 4 minutes of the game,
right?
I'm measuring your wind.
Yes.
Like if I hear you breathing a little hard, it's like,
I'm watching. Is he grabbing his short?
Yeah. Oh, you tired?
In a timeout, is he gasping for air?
Oh, so I'm gonna make another sprint, and I'm gonna sprint really hard because I know those last 2 minutes you gonna be dead.
Wait,
and the last component too, Jenna, is where you do a great job. If you eat better, you can work harder.
Yes.
You can push your body even further, and you can find out what's in here. Because you can't do that when you don't have great conditioning and you don't have a great eating program.
And we all know this. But are the Pelicans sitting him down? Nick saying this to him?
Of course.
No. So this is going to happen.
And that's, by the way, one of the reasons why I don't want to take him not playing with Team USA as a negative. It might be that the Pelicans have said, listen, you can do it if you want, but we'd like to get you on your regiment with us in the building, our guy with you at home every single day starting right now. So I don't think it's because he doesn't want to play ball. I think it's because the Pelicans have a plan for him. I trust David Griffin, Swin Cash, the people in charge.
Yeah.
They're going to give him the book.
Right.
And he's going to have a choice to either treat it like Jenna, treat it like Isaiah Hall of Famer, treat it like Nick Wright. Just put the butt down.
See, now
I know better.
But you got to do all that and play.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah, you got to play. You got to work on your skill.
We got to take a quick break. Stick around, Isaiah. Coming up, will Kawhi win a title in LA before LeBron does? That's next on First.
You know what that stamina allowed Zeke to do? 25, fourth quarter, sprained ankle.